All right, guys, welcome to Off the Top. Well, we got my boy Rodeo Reed, fresh from his horses in the back.
Coming at you.
My boy Jeremy's here, or JKT as you may know him.
Mm-hmm. Stay techie, guys.
Yeah.
Here every day.
This is your home, so I'd assume so.
Is it? This is an apartment. It's not no. Home's where the heart is. The heart's not here.
Wait, that's Disney.
That's what she took it with her in a suitcase. So.
It's me, Ken. Decided to bless them here. Didn't bring the speakers though.
Where's the holy oil?
The holy oil?
Yeah.
I'm drinking holy water now.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah. If we start talking about oil, I might have to see you guys on Discord.
Don't worry, Reed. We're neutral here. Neutral. Thank you.
They told me oil's not good to use. So.
It's not. It's bad for your skin.
Yeah. Skin,
don't put oil on your body unless you. But no, we don't judge. Neutral.
God bless you.
PG here. But yes, welcome to Off the Top. Oh God. How long has it been since I did one? Welcome to Off the Top.
A normal 2 weeks.
Yeah, true. Alcohol.
Oh.
I had to get a little tipsy before. All right, man. Anyway, welcome to Off the Top. We're here. We talk about whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want to. Today is going to be one thing only: the end game. You guys know it, and if you haven't seen it, well, I'm sorry. We're gonna spoil some things. Sorry, I can't help it. You can ban me, get mad at me. You can even dislike me. In the end, doesn't even matter. So we all saw it, and like I said, if you guys have not seen it, which why? Haven't you seen it? I don't know. Maybe you were working.
It's
maybe
breaking.
Maybe you had a baby.
I
don't know. Who knows? But we're gonna talk about it. Talk about our thoughts. What was good? What was not good? What was terrible? What was not terrible? So who wants to go ahead and start off?
Me?
Yeah, King Ken. Yeah, bless us with your water of wisdom.
Everything. I won't say everything. For the most part, I didn't have any issues with the movie.
I did.
The one thing I will say, definitely there's some stuff. Hulk is dumb the whole time. He doesn't do anything.
Smart Hulk.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
He's not so smart.
I don't know why he's weaker. I know he's angry before, so he doesn't think. But why he's weak? If he is weaker and he just doesn't do anything.
Or both.
And I think they did a terrible. I won't say terrible. They had a missed opportunity for Stan Lee.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that either until you said it. And I was like, okay.
They had Stanley come in. I think I'm gonna just skip to the end part here. Basically, when Captain America was passing on the mantle, they should have had old man Captain America as Stan. That would have been a much better.
Awesome.
Yeah. Literally,
I think everybody would have cried out.
Stan Lee was Captain America, passing it off to the next.
Yeah, but this isn't his last.
Cameo.
Yeah, cameo. Far From Home is going to be his last one.
Oh, okay.
They already had that one done.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
R.I.P.
I'll let y'all say some stuff.
Now, I had a few problems, and it was because of the fact that I watched Captain Marvel. I thought she would have a bigger role.
I'm glad she did.
I know some people were expecting that she wasn't gonna have a bigger role, but honestly, I almost felt for her even being in the movie because she literally came at the beginning to save Iron Man, then just left,
disappears for about an hour and 40
came back
minutes.
at the very end of the movie.
Wrecks Thanos' ship,
and then gets beat up by Thanos.
Which the theater that I was in actually cheered that moment. I thought it was hilarious.
Wait, Thanos beat Captain Marvel up?
Yeah, when she came in
that.
And she started whopping him up a little bit, I was like, oh no, don't have her just steal all the thunder. Like, please, no. And then he pulls the slickness. He pulls the Power Stone off the gauntlet into one hand. Shoo-wop, you're out of here.
That was amazing.
And it's like, get back. You don't know me like that.
Funny.
The movie is merciful with her screen time. I think that Infinity War is the better movie. I think that's pretty clear to me, at least. It's a more tightly controlled narrative. Endgame is very, like, it's 3 different acts and it's 3 hours, so it's it's a good amount of story. But the way they split it up, there's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of incoherence, and the way that they set up, we're just going into spoilers. The whole premise of this movie is that the Avengers, of course, have been defeated. there's a good like 40 minutes to an hour of them just saying, "Wow, this shit sucks." Like,
yeah, there is,
and they're just kind of like, "Oh
What
God,
are we
this
doing?"
is terrible." And then the second act of the movie begins, and that's sort of almost like a heist movie,
Yeah.
but with time travel.
Right.
And they're kind of like planning this job, and it's like this whole. I thought that was kind of okay. Can we talk about how Ant-Man was trapped in that briefcase thing, and the only reason he got out was it a cat or a dog?
I think it was like a rat.
I think it
A
was
rat
yeah,
falls on it, and it opens up. So if that rat hadn't fallen on that, would he have just been like trapped in there?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
so
would've been
it's-
trapped.
Which means that they don't get the particle that can take them back in time, which means that the whole
Which would
movie
have never
doesn't happen.
happened. Yeah.
So it all was.
So that
based on
rat
Ant-Man
is
coming
actually
back.
the most important thing that's ever lived in the Marvel Universe.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so there are things like that are just like, oh, okay. Like,
And then the
you
one
kinda have to-
where when they went to get the Soul Stone and
Mhm.
Scarlet died, but she never came back. And I thought as long as their past self existed, no. So even
Like
if-
the way that Hulk explained it doesn't work that way. They're just separate
weird.
entities from each other.
Yeah, but
then
that
when she still
causes
exists?
that causes an issue though, because it's like they said. This is why time travel was like as soon as they said as soon as the movie looks to the audience and says, yeah, it's time travel. I was like, you're gonna have problems because Hulk says that you're not changing your timeline.
Mhm.
you're changing
You're diverging from that and creating a whole new time. So when they're like, and I was like, well, then doesn't that kind of like, then what are you really doing? You're just creating another timeline. I don't know. It was just kind of confusing. It was sort of unclear, at least to me, the first time watching it. I haven't seen it twice. But yeah, Hulk looking like that was weird. Now that I think about
It
it,
wasn't even that looking like it because I mean there is a point when Hulk.
where he's conscious.
Yeah.
he Bruce Banner is like in control enough to where him and
Yeah.
Hulk are almost like side by side.
It just leave.
He did,
For the most part.
and he was used mostly for comic relief. I wanted him to have a moment where he actually gets a good like payback against Thanos for beating his ass at the beginning of
That would be
Infinity
nice.
War, because he gets his ass beat in Infinity War and then disappears from the entire movie. Like
Yeah,
Hulk is
that
like
was it.
Hulk won't come back out for the entire thing, and I wanted that moment, that cathartic moment of Hulk being like, "No, I get to smash again," and I don't remember it.
Mhm.
So if it's not stuck out in my mind, evidently it didn't really.
Nope, it didn't.
But yeah, so by the end, there were a lot of fan service moments that I really liked. I think that needed to happen. Captain America, when he was in the elevator and he leans in and he goes, "Hail Hydra," and the dudes kind of look at each other like, "Is he what?" And they were like, and they weren't quite. And then they reluctantly handed it over, and he smiled. I was like, little moments like that were cool, and him fighting himself in the past.
That was cool.
You know, where it's Captain America versus Captain America, and it's just like moments like that were cool. And I can almost forgive some of the other like confusing parts of the movie because those like I'm sorry, Captain America with Thor's hammer is just fucking sweet.
It was
Like
pretty
it's
cool.
just awesome.
It
And
was
when he
pretty cool.
starts swinging it and like making it spin the way Thor did, and he flies at Thanos and he's combo
was-
attacking with the shield and the lightning, it's
I
just
said
awesome.
after that, I was like, okay, I'll put some respect on his name. That was pretty
No,
awesome. That was
Captain
awesome.
America got a bump in respect
That was
from
like,
that movie.
whoa.
that movie.
When he did it, I was like, oh, excuse me.
I've always
I'm done.
loved Cap. He's the Boy Scout.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. I get why he's like the uncool one to an extent, but his movies got better as they went along, and this movie was a really good swan song for him. And I think Thor and Iron Man, because they're the main three, they're the big three of the franchise. And I suppose now Thor is with the Guardians. Like he's going to be in Guardians 3, right? I think he is, because he's on their ship, and they
pretty
literally
sure
were
he'll
just
be.
like, all right, let's just go off to adventure.
I wonder
now.
if he's gonna get in
So
shape
it's
for
like-
that.
Yeah, he's gonna. He can't be. Well,
I'm pretty sure it wasn't mostly his actual weight on him at that point.
yeah, I can't. I kept waiting for the moment when he gets a hammer in his hand and it like forms his armor, like it does from time to time, and it goes back to being normal Thor. Looking back on it now, I'm kind of like, I mean, Fat Thor was funny. I mean, it is just funny. He shows up and he's got a dad beer gut,
Playing Fortnite with
and him and his buddies are playing Fortnite
That
in
was-
in a dingy hovel, and it's just and he's like, "Oh, Thor, this going on Fortnite, call me a kid." and he takes the headset and he's like, "I will come to you," and blah blah blah, and he goes, "Thank you, Thor." That guy is funny. I'm glad they brought him
Yeah, he
back
was
too, the
pretty
Rock
cool. He was
guy,
awesome.
Korg or whatever. So yeah, those.
I remember he was voiced by one of the previous directors or something.
He is the
Yeah.
the guy. What's it? Taika Waititi or something. He's got a strange name. But they paid a lot of respect to the big three, which I like. Hulk, he was, but Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man really get to shine in their own way.
The one who really didn't get. Everyone is disrespecting.
Poor Ant-Man
is really
he just wants to be loved and liked.
Yeah.
Especially when the kids went up the hall, he's like, "You want a picture with Ant-Man?" They're looking at him like, "Who's that?"
At the end, when he goes Goliath and he starts stomping, they all like that last like 20 minutes is I could watch that all day.
That was cool.
It's like this big Lord of the Rings size battle, but with all the heroes that have.
What did you think about the part where they had all the ladies come together and fight? Not to say it was bad, but because I just felt like when Captain Marvel just flew through all those enemies, I was like, was that as necessary as it needed to be? Like, don't get me wrong, it was a cool moment, but then I was like, Captain Marvel didn't.
Nothing wrong with the ladies.
No, I had nothing wrong with that. That was cool.
I just think the whole assemble part was not
there's
needed.
There's no one. I haven't heard any reasonable person say that they're against the girl power thing.
No,
being
not the
there.
girl power.
It's not that. It's that I'm forced to remove myself from the movie and say, okay, did Thanos just like pause the battle while they you guys can just all the women gather up, and we're all gonna stand over here and it'll look awesome, and then we're all gonna charge. Like, how did they coordinate this? And so it kind of takes you out of the movie because it's like, okay, there's one woman. Oh, there's two. Oh, okay, so they're just having all the women. Okay, I guess that's what they're doing.
Hey, we come together.
All of them except for Black.
Except for Black Widow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Scarlett Johansson, of all the main actors, the original 6, Hawkeye, Hulk, Black Widow, Thor, Cap, all of them, I think that she got shortchanged the most. Because Hawkeye got a lot cooler as he went on.
Right.
Like in the first Thor movie, you meet him very briefly, and he's a nobody. And then you see him again in Avengers, and he does some cool stuff. They make a joke here or there. And then in Age of Ultron, he gets a lot better. Like, he has that connection with Scarlet Witch when he's like, hey, look, we're fighting an army of robots. I have a bow on my back. None of this makes sense. Let's get through this together. And they have like that warmth between them that they then see in the funeral scene when they're all, mourning Iron Man.
Right,
and they sort of have that moment where they're like, my family died, your family died. And they got better. And Scarlett Johansson is a really good actress. And I think she didn't really get that much to shine throughout the movies, but this movie was really good for her. So all of the character moments were there. So you can't say, like, when we look back, we'll say, okay, I think of this as Infinity War is like Empire Strikes Back. It's just, it's a really dark story, but it's awesome. And it's intense, and it hits where it needs to, when it needs to. And Endgame is kind of like Return of the Jedi. Is it a bad movie? No, by no means. Does it have a lot more noticeable problems? I would say so. The time travel kind of breaks itself and the universe because they said, okay, we only have enough of the Pym particles to go back, or they only have enough to go back in time and then get themselves back to their time.
Yeah, do a round trip.
And I was just like, okay, well then why don't you go back to a time where you didn't use it? It's like, I don't know, any time travel thing. And they make all the jokes about like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Back to the Future and Terminator and all like that. And then I'm like, yeah, but then your time doesn't really follow logic of itself. So there is that. But overall, I really...
What do you think? You say some stuff. While I'm trying to remember what I was.
Well, it's funny because to me, time travel is one of those things. It's very hard to really.
It's a messy
to do
thing.
A movie because there's so many things that can go wrong, and there's so many inconsistencies that there's no really way to. Well, there's no right answer to it.
Right.
Because there were a lot of parts in the Avengers Endgame as far as time travel that didn't make sense, and one guy brought it up was Nebula.
Oh yeah.
The fact that she shot her past self and she was still living, that didn't make any sense to me.
I don't remember, because I went to the bathroom very, very quickly towards like the very ending part of the first act. And so when I came back, Nebula gets a lot of screen time, by the way. She does. She's awesome. I really like Nebula. She got a lot more time. But I never So did it ever get explained why her past version can beam? Like Thanos saw everything that the future version
because
knew.
They're on the same, like when she's in that same timeline as her past self, they only have one network that she's on or something like that. And when she goes back in time,
does it work that way for the normal humans? Like, do they share memories?
No, not the memories, because her memories are uploaded to a network. So when she's on that in the same timeline, she shares that same network with Nebula.
I got you.
Nebula, and that's why they can share memories.
I got you. And then Thanos sort of vicariously figures out what's going on.
Yeah, because since they're on the same network, he can get into her memories.
And very quickly, moves to retaliate. Mm-hmm. Josh Brolin is excellent. I think he really, really proved all of the naysayers wrong, because I was worried that Thanos would be a big purple nothing. Like, because he could have easily been. He's a big CGI thing. Yeah. It's like, how easy would it have been for him to be Steppenwolf or Doomsday? You know what I mean? Some other big CGI nothing that doesn't matter. And he stepped into the role, and he really, really made it his own. Job. And I think that's why I like Infinity War so much, because it's mostly his movie. It's more his movie than it is the Avengers.
It is.
Like, he's the star, and I really, really like that movie so much.
Yeah, I really like that. Even though it seemed like he was kind of a bad guy, even though some would say he really wasn't.
The one thing I don't like that Endgame did with him, and it didn't bother me when I first saw it, but then I thought about it. In Infinity War, Thanos is very reluctant. It's exactly like you said. He has his own ideals, and he's the hero of his own story.
Yeah.
Like, he's the hero of the other side. And I like that. I don't like the mustache twirling, like, man, I need you. It's like, that's Saturday cartoon shit. No, Thanos was if you look at him like you would look at a human, he just had the strength of his conviction, and he said, okay, my civilization was wiped out by this thing, and I have a solution. And my solution will work, which I guess it would. You call the population, it's the whole thing. So, but in the in like the last 20 minutes of Endgame, there's a moment when he looks at Iron Man and he says, "I'm going to take pleasure in destroying your planet piece by piece." He says something sadistic.
Yeah, it was like, "I'm going to take."
I don't think that's what he would say, even if he was pissed off.
Maybe at this point, because they're going as far as reversing his ideals that he put in place or achieved. So maybe
I think that was the reason why he said that.
I just like him better as, like, he doesn't take pleasure in killing. Mm-hmm. Like that line he says to Gamora in the first scene they have in Infinity War, when he's balancing the knife, he's like, balanced as all things should be. That's his mantra. And that's like, he doesn't, I don't know. I just don't see him as a guy who takes pleasure in that sort of thing. I think he's just...
Well, he only took pleasure in that because of the fact that the way he thought of it was that they should be grateful for the fact that he was doing something.
Yeah, he's almost...
And because they were going against it, he deemed them as ungrateful. So now that idea of, well, I wasn't originally going to, I wasn't enjoying doing this. I only do it because of where it worked for me. It would work for everybody. But because you now are going against something that technically could actually help you all, now
I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah, now I'm going to be enjoying this moment because you guys are in the way of me being able to be successful.
When Scarlet Witch was fighting him at the end of the first movie, and he kills Vision, she kills Vision, then he reverses time. She's trying to fight him, and he goes, "That's enough, my child." Like, he's like, "It's okay now, you can rest." Like, he has almost like this parenting, like, let it go type vibe to him, where he's like, "I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm doing this because I have to, because it's all in service to this thing." So, in any case,
yeah, because I never really considered Thanos a bad guy. Like, you think about it, it's like,
he's not.
It's like, in a way, it was like, it doesn't seem
he's not a bad guy in the same way that, like, Red Skull is a bad guy.
Yeah,
Red Skull wants the Tesseract so he can make weapons to take over the world and rule it.
And not be
Thanos was like, "All right, I did what I wanted to do," which he did. He won, and he goes into a little hut and he sits, and that's it.
And he farms.
And he accepts his death when they come for him in the beginning. When Thor, I thought that they might actually just keep him dead for a little while. Because I was like, it might actually work better without him.
I was kind of interested to see where they would have gone with that, because I thought once he cut his head off, I was like, is it? No more Thanos?
That would have been a little, like, fascinating subversion of what you would have expected. Subverting expectations, not a popular thing to say. It's like The Last Jedi. You know what I mean? Well, you did subvert my expectations. I didn't expect that my day ruined. But no, it works. That's the main thing. It works.
About the Nebula thing where she shot herself. Can you actually kill a robot though? She's mostly a robot. They could just honestly fix her, which would not make her pass release.
Yeah. I was a bit confused. Is there like a core part of her somewhere, like a CPU equivalent of a robot person?
That's just a question we'll never get answered. Because it's one of those things, because when he brought it up, I was like, that is kind of where Scarlet died. And I thought technically she was supposed to, she could have came back. I mean, not indirectly in that time.
She dies in Death's domain. Death has her permanently. Yeah,
but I thought
unless they make a deal with Death or something.
Oh, is that how it works? Because I thought if it was just if your past self dies, you don't exist.
No, the people who give the people who give their life for the Soul Stone, they're not able to come back
because the Soul Stone trumps that.
But, okay, but I didn't think of that.
At the same time, it's like, couldn't they go back to
before she
did it?
They could. If she wanted to. But if they do that, they would have to stop them from doing it, which is, I don't know how that works.
That's an infinite loop of
It's
gonna all of this is gonna eventually degenerate into a bunch of ones and zeros at the end of it all. One thing that I also thought was like when Captain America shows back up, I thought that shot was really well done when he was like, all right, I'm gonna go put the Tesseract back in my time and make sure that it goes back to the way so everything can play out. And then they're waiting for him. They're like, he should be here. Where is he? And, taps him on the shoulder, points, and it's this little old guy. Not little old dude. He was in shape for an old man.
Oh, yeah.
But, because, I mean,
he's got super soldier.
Yeah, he's a super old man.
Big boy.
I wonder if he's still stronger than a person in their normal.
He probably is. He's probably still stronger than, like, an Olympic athlete would be in his like, twilight years. He's got to be, like, in his 90s. But, I like how he got his life, and he got to live with because his whole thing was he was yanked away from what he loves, and like Thor lost his home. They all have lost stuff, but that was Captain America's loss. He had to, and then it was even worse because he had to meet that woman later on as an old woman and her dying, and basically watch her die. So life kicked the crap out of him and was just like, nope, you don't get happiness. So he gets to go back and have the life he always wanted, which is a beautiful end to his thing. But it also raises an issue. Does that then mean that everything that happens, he just kind of was watching from a distance?
Either that or working in the background as an anonymous person.
Yeah. But then does that mean that everyone in their history, like Captain America, just keeps being Captain America then, right? If he doesn't go down into the ice, I get what you're saying. Like he could be like a covert like agent for some other thing. So I guess he still would be involved in S.H.I.E.L.D., but that would mean that he would still be in the battle at New York.
I'm pretty sure though that he didn't get involved at all and just let the other Captain America. He was married at the end and all that, so I'm pretty sure he didn't even bother getting involved with it.
Oh, so you mean like there was another Captain America?
He existed at the same time as the other Captain America. Because they already fought each other once. Why couldn't they? He would have not... Well, the other one was in the ice at the time.
Yeah, so the one would be in the ice.
What was there?
It depends when he came back out.
So that would mean that he gets... Okay, I see what you're saying now. So that would mean that he gets to just be
his own life.
Oh,
yeah, and the other one still does what it does.
The other Captain America still gets unfrozen and still comes back to fight in Avengers 1.
He just lives his own life with the person he marries and all that.
That makes sense. Okay.
That would still... Now, at the same time, he would still have to like watch Sokovia and be like, that's a lot of people dying. that's a lot of people dying.
Yeah.
I mean, but in the end, he knows that it's just going to work out the same way it was meant to be. He just gets to do his own life. I don't know. Maybe Captain America was saying, fuck it, I'm selfish.
I mean, I was about to say, at a certain point, he's like, haven't I made my point?
I've done what I needed to.
I fought a space god with a magical hammer, and I fought with gods and kings and all this. It's like, I've done it. I've saved reality.
And he's also, I think, if they end up finding out two of them exist in the same timeline, that causes a whole other problem at that point.
Yeah,
they're like, how do two of you exist at the same time?
That's the Prisoner of Azkaban problem. Yeah, that would mean that he would have to keep his identity a secret because Peggy would know.
Except unless he convinces her not to tell anyone.
Well, no, he would convince her, but then like when the other Captain America comes out, I don't know. You can do it. But
It's always possible.
Sure.
Anything's possible.
And the other thing about the time thing is now they can sort of retcon anything they want, which I heard that Far From Home is going to be the last Phase 3 movie, and then they move into whatever they're doing after this. And I think that's where they're going. I think they're going for a full Universal reboot. Because now that they've introduced, I was kind of confused by the way they did the time travel with the Pym particles, which has already been explained. I get that. I'm not saying that it came out of nowhere, but I was like, we have an Infinity Stone that's literally the Time Stone. So it's like, I don't know. So there's that and the Pym particles, and now there's that type of time travel. So it sort of makes that stone somewhat irrelevant.
Stone just controls time. Like Pym particles, you got to actually go back in time. Like using it that way, it seems like. The stone, you can actually you can locally just change time.
Yeah,
or something. Like,
you can
with like vision.
You're right.
Vision.
You're right. You can you can put a field of time control on, and you can rewind it, and Jaramus will grow a beard or something. And
I'll be old and you still be young.
Yeah, it controls every.
You're right.
Of time.
Localized time control. That's the word.
Or even just fully time control.
And you can go forward, backward. You can perceive other timelines. That's how Doctor Strange, when he was doing
it controls every aspect.
Head.
It controls every aspect.
He was like he can then view other timelines and realities
within this universe.
Within the universe, which is how he. So.
He knew that.
The last moment with Iron Man was really well done. Where he is just beaten to crap by the Infinity Stone or by the Infinity Gauntlet.
Nobody cried in my theater. I heard people cry really bad.
No, I heard people.
There's some people who were like sniffling.
No,
I was sad because I do.
Like,
Iron Man is one of my favorites.
The only tear I shed, because it's hard for me to cry at a movie, but when I do, it's for real. The moment that made me sort of tear up was when the hologram of Tony Stark said to his daughter, "I love you 3000," and then disappears, and then the next shot is the very first arc reactor that he built in the cave when he was fighting the terrorists. And it says proofs Tony Stark has a heart. I was like, that moment did that for me.
I heard that the I Love You 3000 was Robert Downey Jr. That's what they actually say in his brought that on.
Oh really?
It was supposed to be like I love you tons or something like that. But instead he just used his own thing.
Or something like that.
No, that's sweet. And Iron Man is really, like, in my opinion, he got the best send off, because that's what it started with him, and he saw it through to this final end of Phase 3, and it was and the fact that it works as a franchise as well as it does, it still has problems like anything else. You have your Thor: The Dark Worlds, you have the Ant-Man and Wasp, you have your weaker things here and there. We all know that. But overall, the fact that it came together and it works like that is incredible. So it's never been done. I don't think it'll ever be done ever again. You're the king of doing this right now.
Can you always have something to say and you forget it?
That's because I want to let y'all finish it. I don't want to just blurt it out loud.
I thought that they were going to give Iron Man... this is one of my other problems with the time thing. When they said that you don't eliminate a reality, in other words, he goes back in time... and then his daughter and Pepper in that life is still there, so he can go back to it. I thought that was a little bit of a cop-out, because that means that he no longer really has to wrestle with the choice to save the world or keep his daughter. Like the other way, if a new reality was created and you actually corrected what was wrong in the other time, he would lose his daughter, but he would save the world. And that's been Iron Man's whole thing, is him... my life and my need to save the world. It's like a pathology that he has, where he has to he sees that vision of the Avengers being destroyed. Like Hulk is stabbed and eviscerated. Captain America's shield is broken, and then Cap comes alive long enough to just say, "You should have saved us," or something like that. And that's been haunting him his whole life ever since the Iron Man, because that was his character moment. He sees that his weapons were being used by these awful people, and that turns him around as a human being, in a very profound way. And that sort of carried through in the movies. Ultron, he was like, I wanted to make this thing so that I don't have to stay around and do this, so that this thing can guard the Earth, and then I can have my life. And for a while, it looked like Endgame was going to really go for that, where it's like he has his life for those 5 years or whatever it was, that time skip they did.
It was 5 years.
For those 5 years, he had all that. He was where he needed to be or where he wanted to be all along, and that would have been a really tough decision for him.
I honestly thought they were gonna go that way.
That's what I thought.
The way they saw it, I was like, oh, he's not gonna.
Like he's gonna have to give up his daughter to save reality.
And then he did it, and I was like,
that ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. But it still works.
Yeah, it works. It still works. Yeah.
How did y'all feel about Samuel L. Jackson having a line at the at all?
I thought that was kind of.
I would have liked to see him in there.
Have some type of speech thing to say at his funeral or something like that.
Even something like.
Yeah. Like just a word.
Yeah. I thought all the people in the funeral scene at the end looked like some of them were CGI'd in. Because it was like, you can't get all of them together. Like, all of them? All like 40 of these A-listers?
Maybe they were transitioning and then that was a different scene every time.
Yeah. There's no way all these people were on set, on location at one time on one day. That shot took more than one day.
It probably did.
So now you got hotel rooms for all these, but you know what I mean? Like when you think about it logistically. But
you didn't have to have Robert Downey.
Exactly.
How dare you?
You're like, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
It still hurts though. It still hurts.
So yeah, they all handle business well. I saw a lot of people online saying that they were mad that like Captain Marvel and characters like that didn't get more screen time, and I thought that's not what this movie is. Those characters are going to have their own movies after all this, and they're going to get their shine in whatever form, whatever shape that takes. But this movie is like, this is the swan song for the big three, and Scarlett Johansson and all them. So this is their movie. Thanos had his movie, now they have their movie.
Well, also they didn't need her Captain Marvel there because they made her too powerful. Now she's just basically
that's a whole that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's why they can't have her there. She's too powerful.
Yeah. It's like, turns out making a character that just is perfect at everything kind of makes it hard to write a story.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, who needs flaws?
Okay, you gotta go save other people. Don't worry about
Iron Man would be so much better if he didn't have to learn anything as a human being or grow. But no, it functions really well as that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about anything else that happens in that universe. I've kind of, I'm full, if that makes sense. And if this was a cinematic buffet, I'm now full. I've eaten all I can. I saw a really good story that was told well by very talented people with a lot of money behind it. It was an unprecedented undertaking.
They don't need to do anymore.
And I'm full now.
I mean, it's not about it. It's about So I was talking to people about this and they brought it up. Since in the Marvel universe they made the Skrulls not evil,
they're like refugees.
Yeah, they're refugee good people. Blah blah blah. That means Super Skrull will never exist.
Yep. Super Skrull can't be a thing.
True.
Yep. I just don't know. Like, I always imagine what they would do afterwards. They're gonna have to rebuild from the ground up, and I don't just mean like the cast. I mean literally like, all right, you can't do anything bigger than this. Like, we had a universe spanning, like, we were going in between galaxies and through time and stuff, and it's like, and then space gods and space wizards and all this. It's like, you can't go bigger. So tell like smaller, tighter stories that are more ground level, and you'll do better. I'll see Spider-Man. I may or may not see Doctor Strange.
That Strange come out another movie?
He's gonna have a second one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Black Panther is having the second movie, of course.
Oh, damn. Dang, I got a lot of
movies. Yeah, all of those. The one that I'm really excited about is Guardians, because they're actually bringing James Gunn back. They caved.
Okay, nice. I did hear
Dave
about
Bautista
that.
And a lot of, I don't think Chris Pratt did, but a couple of them were like, yeah, if James Gunn isn't involved in this, I'm not coming back. You're not gonna have me. So, good on them. Hopefully that'll set a precedent. Like, hey, something that somebody tweeted out years ago that they can't really answer for anymore. Maybe don't ruin their life over that or ruin their career.
Exactly.
Maybe give them a chance. And
they could always do. Eventually build up to that if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could. That's the thing about the time, the nature of the time thing that they created. It's like, now really they can do whatever, or they can reverse whatever, or they can, So there's effectively multiverses now.
How do you like how they implied that it's going to lead up to the Loki TV show.
There's a Loki TV show?
What?
They're making a TV show based on Loki.
No
Oh
way.
my god.
Yeah, and they led up to that by seeing him escape with the...
Yeah, with the Tesseract.
Oh,
He does.
Yeah.
When I was waiting for that to be resolved in the movie, and it never does.
No, 'cause
he
that's-
gets it up,
Yeah.
runs away into the portal.
He just goes through a portal. And that's
he
it.
goes through a portal, and then you never see or hear from him again.
Yeah, because
Loki
there's a
TV
Loki TV show.
Oh my god.
I heard they were going to be doing a Scarlet Witch Vision TV show as well. Who knows? But no, I'm
You're full, man. You're full.
I'm full now.
Cam, which
The-
one? Endgame or Infinity War?
I mean, I like how Endgame touched more on more of a emotional or humanity type look behind the people behind it, seeing how they're handling the 5 years after it all happened and everything. But Infinity Wars had better, except for the last 20 minutes, a lot better action scenes, say overall.
It's kind of funny because
would-
that was the same way. That was the same thing me and my fiance thought. Was to me, Endgame was more so you have created an attachment with these characters. Now it's more of an emotion. You're seeing them what's going on after the 5 years. So it's kind of more of an emotional type of movie to me because I loved all the characters. Iron Man was definitely one of my favorites between the big three. I loved Iron Man. I was sad to see him go, but Infinity War was kind of more so action. It was a lot more comedy in there. There was comedy, but it was more like puns and zingers than really like full on comedy. So they both had their goods, each other. So I wouldn't say like one was overly better than the other, but because they kind of serve different purposes.
I would say Endgame is about payoff.
Yeah,
it's we've been on this journey with Iron Man since 2008. Like we've been on this train for a while, and it was paying them off. And that's why moments like Captain America getting Thor's hammer work so well, because back in Age of Ultron when he just barely moves it, and Thor has that moment when he's like, and then when he gets it in Endgame, Thor smiles and we all smile because he's like, I knew it. It's like, yes, I knew he could. And then there's that moment, there's that really great moment where Captain America's holding both of them. No. He's like, no, you give me the big one. You get the small one.
No, it was Thor was holding his regular hammer and Captain America.
Oh yeah,
and
he's like traded.
He said, I want the big one.
Yeah,
He's
no, you
traded.
get the small one.
You get the small one.
You're a young man in this game.
I love
that. And they're combo attacking, and he's lightning. He's throwing lightning at Thanos while he's comboing with the shield.
It was awesome.
And it's just so cool. It's like in the first Avengers. Like the first Avengers movie is one of my favorite movies ever, and it works really well because you get to see how their powers interact for the first time. And there's this wonderful moment when Iron Man and Captain America are fighting in the street, and they're going like around each other to beat up the aliens. And then Captain America looks up, holds his shield. Iron Man blasts a laser, and then Cap like reflects it into like 10 other aliens. It's this cool moment where they team up and they do something awesome. And Endgame has a lot of that.
It does, yeah.
The combo attacks were there.
What is Thanos's? Start cutting through the shield like nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's some type of
crazy.
badass alien metal. It was like
He was
adamantium is, or not adamantium. Vibranium is supposed to be alien as well.
Yeah.
So
Maybe it
he
was
must.
maybe made out of
It was,
adamantium.
Maybe it was. I know in the comics, it's adamantium and vibranium. It's like an alloy, and in the movies they just say it's vibranium. So. But yeah, whatever he had was an
powerful.
upgraded, an even higher level
shit,
metal than that was, because he wrecked that thing.
I was glad to see Thanos do a little bit of fighting.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool to see him fight without a gauntlet.
It kind of made Captain America's shield not be as important because it breaks every fight almost
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, once you're fighting on this level, I mean, it's gonna
At
happen.
some point.
You just reminded me of something that kind of stuck out to me. At the end of Infinity War, Thor comes back with Stormbreaker, and he's fighting Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet fully kitted out. And like that's when he goes, "You should have gone for the head," and then he snaps.
Yeah.
So he's fighting Thanos for a little while, fully powered. In this movie, Thanos is fighting with no Infinity Gauntlet. Like he was holding his own against Thor. He fought Thor, Captain America with the hammer, and Iron Man
Yeah.
with no Infinity
Well,
Stones.
Thanos is younger. Also,
He's younger by like 5 years, and his race, he's like sort of vaguely immortal, right?
he's more than 5 years. Think of it, because it was 5 years after before the snap, when the snap happened, and then he didn't even have any of the Infinity Stones yet when he first.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
So he was way younger than 5 years old. Younger.
Well, had more stamina.
Yeah, but those 8 or 9 years isn't gonna make like he's supposed to be a superpower. Like base level Thanos should be able to tank pretty much everything from Thor. But when you throw in Cap with Thor's hammer, Iron Man, and that's like, because when Cap gets Thor's hammer, he is effectively becoming the same power level as Thor. That's what the whole point of it is like you get the hammer and your strength, your speed, your invincibility, all that. And yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, the only thing, no one really hurt Thanos except for Thor. Flew out of nowhere and hit him in the chest. That was about it. Other than that, no one really hurt him.
yeah.
He maybe like had a little bit of blood when he was fighting like Iron Man and all them, but he was just knocked down everyone after one.
When he in Infinity War, he goes all that for a drop of blood.
Yeah, that's like, all they did. So I mean,
no one worked really, really hard for like a scratch.
Like, no one actually really hurt him except for Stormbringer.
Yeah.
So
I like how Thanos when they were fighting and he saw that glove on the floor. Man, Thanos was going on everybody. He was desperate to get that gauntlet. He was just taking everybody out, throwing them, punching. I was like, hey, Thor. I mean, not Thor. Thanos is. He's no joke. Even with him not having the gauntlet, he's still a pretty powerful dude.
Yeah. How did Iron Man get the stones out of the gauntlet? So
I thought he just put the.
No, but first, because remember Thanos went to snap and he did it and there was no stones in it. He still had the glove at the moment.
I'm not sure.
I thought he just put the Infinity Gauntlet.
No. They went to his own glove. He had.
I thought he somehow was able to extract it off.
No, he didn't take the glove off of Thanos.
No, not the glove off of Thanos, but because his suit had the ability to hold the stones, I thought he just didn't put that near it.
No, the stone. He put the stones in his gauntlet after he pulled them off Thanos. They weren't already in there.
Oh, maybe they were.
So he somehow
went up to Thanos, grabbed him, and then Thanos smacked him away, and he had all the Infinity Stones.
He had the time to put the Infinity Stones.
No, he didn't have. But he didn't put them. He put them on in front of Thanos, but he somehow had the time that he went to Thanos, and Thanos smacked him away, and he took all the stones out of the gauntlet somehow. You need to rewatch that.
I can't say.
I don't know how that
It's
works.
a big fucking movie that I saw a week ago.
You gotta rewatch it.
I have to take in a lot, okay?
But I was like, how did he just fly into him, remove all the stones, and get smacked away that quick?
It's like that inconsistency. There's a wonderful video on YouTube that you can watch. All the mistakes in Jurassic Park, where the T-Rex, the fence that the T-Rex comes out of, is like there's ground everywhere, and then when the truck gets flipped over the side, you look and there's a cliff that's suddenly there, and it's like that T-Rex was it standing there? It was like, even as a kid, I was like, that doesn't make sense. So there are moments like that. That's not right.
I also like how the movie universe has an obsession with you. He has to snap his fingers. He doesn't need to snap his fingers. He can just use the gauntlet.
Can't he just will it to be
Yes,
so?
it's all it is. He doesn't need to snap his fingers to use the Power Stone or anything.
Now I agree. Now as a nerd, I completely agree.
I know it'd be cheap in the movie because as soon as he gets it on, it's over.
Sure. Well, there's that, but also there are certain things in a movie. This is why Marvel is so good, because they know these things. There's like visual shorthand that any human can recognize. And it's like it's easy to understand. So like when he snaps, you as a human know, okay, so he just did something, and that's it. If he gets the gauntlet and just wills it, it's like, whoa, okay, I guess that's happening. It's like, what's happening? So I think that's what that is an example of, is just visual short.
One thing I'm thinking of, thought of it, if they had the time to go back, and especially to get more PEM particles,
it's an infinite. You can infinitely farm them.
Well. Kind of until you're at the point that's a loop, you've already stolen them or something.
Yeah, but would you get to that?
Never mind. It is infinite because you don't interact with your old self. It doesn't matter apparently.
Yeah,
because they can't. I don't know. Anyway, why don't they go back and get an actual Infinity Gauntlet made if you tell the people what's really going to happen.
The
So Iron Man and Hulk don't just destroy their arms.
Well, it destroyed Thanos' body too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why don't they go back in time before Thanos got the Infinity Gauntlet made, get them to make it for them, they can bring it to their time so they don't get hurt for using the stones.
Yeah. True.
Right, because it wouldn't be as interesting.
Yeah, I know it would be interesting.
Exactly.
I thought it was funny how they go back in time and Thor meets his mom and talks to her.
Yeah.
And then Captain America he doesn't meet Peggy, but he sees her. He stumbles into her office. I was like, what are the odds that you just randomly stumble into the woman you love's office 20 years after you disappear? And then they go outside and Iron Man meets his dad.
Yeah,
and I was like, at that point, I'm like, oh, wait, what are the odds that they're all going to meet someone who's that intimately involved with their story?
I was thinking how awkward it would be if she actually just looked up.
Yeah.
If
she looks up from that clipboard long enough to say, "Holy shit, that's Steve Rogers! Oh my god!" And it's like, and then that breaks the timeline.
I thought she was gonna look up. That's why I was like,
yeah, it's like all she has to do is look up.
And then he runs out the building yelling, Tony, we gotta go or something. And his dad's like, that was the name I was thinking for my son. He's like, wait a second.
Martha had thought about naming our kid
it's
Tony.
like, have I seen you before? You look familiar.
And he was saying all these lines where he was like, yeah, my dad was the only thing he knew was the business end of a belt loop or something like that. He said something like, yeah, I was beaten as a kid. And then Tony Stark was like, yeah, my dad was pretty cool. And then they have like those conversations were fine. I'm not saying that those moments were still good. Mm-hmm. It's just the suspension of disbelief was kind of like, okay, what the fuck are the odds? Like, you're all going to bump into these people.
How ironic.
No, but it was a lot of fun. I'm going to go back and watch it with a more critical eye this time, obviously, because it's, the spectacle is worn off.
Watch for the scene when Tony somehow steals all of the Infinity Stones in one swoop.
Yeah.
Magic. I'm just going with magic.
Only thing I could think about is if he built a failsafe to eject the stones out.
That's what I was.
Which is something that I could see that being something that he would have.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. They didn't show anything that looked like he did anything.
It'd be hard for him to explain why he needs that, but at the same, it's not outside of the.
It wouldn't be something you would. No, I mean it's explainable. If he gets it, you want to get it out of his hand as quick as possible. So
yeah,
even if it's just leaving him with an empty gauntlet version of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for.
But he also must have thought that it would have happened if he put his own Iron Man suit the ability to do it. Well, it's nanotech, so it can actually just
it can form to anything.
Yeah, so it can form and to be able to hold him anyway if he needed it to.
We were in the office talking about the movie, and one of the dudes he brought up Pepper Potts being in the Defender armor.
Yeah,
and she was awesome. Like that thing came out of her back, and she starts attacking the aliens with that apparatus from her back, and They were like, so what do they call her? Is she Iron Woman? And then some dude was like, no, she's the non-binary Iron Individual.
If it wasn't already a band, she would be the Iron Maiden.
Exactly. And that would be awesome. I am the Iron Maiden. It's like, that's just sweet. And they would have to, the silver on that suit is cool. They would have to figure out a more badass color scheme for the Iron Maiden. But, yeah, all of those when Doctor Strange starts opening up all those portals at the end, and all of the people start flooding in, and what's his face, Wong was like, "What, you wanted more?" And it's just like the movie's sort of smiling with you, and it's goddamn, they did such a good job, man.
Yeah, they did great
from start to finish. They stumbled here and there, but it works really well.
Yeah, overall it was really. I love the part when Doctor Strange. The made a tornado was so cool. I like Doctor Strange. He's a really cool guy.
And from some other podcasts I was watching after I watched the movie.
You're not supposed to watch another podcast. Only one podcast. Only one.
I'm sorry. They have more listens. I'm sorry.
Oh wow! Ken, go ahead and eat that salt while you're here, buddy.
That's not salty. I'm just speaking the truth.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're bad. I'm just saying listen. Anyway,
what did they say in this podcast?
So that one thing they were talking about too was they like how they were showing how the fight was taking effect on them. Stuff like when Doctor Strange is letting Tony know now's that moment by holding his finger up and stuff. You can see his hand is shaking where he's got fucked up before he became Doctor Strange. That it's taking its toll on him and stuff like this and everything.
Because his hands are still, even though he's super powerful, his hands are still messed up.
Yeah, and you can see that now with all that he's doing, like all the magic shit he's doing.
It's like taking it out of
him. And you can see it in that scene and stuff like that. And they actually put that much thought into it.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of care put in. I thought that the shot where Panther walks out and he looks at Cap and he sort of gives him that little nod of like, backups here, man. And Captain America is like, oh, thank God.
My shield's broken. Yes. You see my shield?
He's like, do you see what's happening around us? Like, we need you here yesterday.
What happened to those other 15 minutes y'all came back?
What took you so long?
Oh, God. It's like, yeah, for real. It's like, you couldn't have showed up 10 minutes ago, asshole.
This Spider-Man, he comes out just
we brought you back to life. We brought you back to life after 5 years. You should know exactly what's going on and get here.
Spider-Man didn't know. He was just he was just happy. He's like,
from their perspective, I think that
it was just like an instant.
It's instantaneous. Like when they disappeared, their thought process, they're immediately
they ceased to exist and then they just existed again.
Then they're walking through a portal and they're like, oh, okay.
We're fighting, okay.
It's like when it's like when you get a tooth pulled out if they have to put you to sleep. Like you'll wake right back up. Like what happened?
That was their anesthetic.
It's a dreamless sleep.
Kind of crazy how they all assembled like that, though, all of a sudden, enough to have the armies ready in that 2 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, once again,
I think they said the time was longer for them, though.
I'm willing to.
It took them long. They were.
I don't know how long it actually. I just said 10, 15 because it felt like that in the movie.
Yeah, he's talking about movie time.
No.
I forgive things like that. Like things like, oh, so there's just going to be two sides charging Lord of the Rings style. Like, okay, but I don't know. I can't help. I just got to forgive it.
Like, I know. I'm not saying it's bad.
They've made up for it in so many other ways that I can forgive them.
I'm just thinking Ant-Man survives a lot of abuse too for
being a dude.
Yeah, like when he after the snap when he just looks out the window and then gets shot pretty much directly by the ship and he survives.
When they blow up the Avengers base and it's Hawkeye and Ant-Man buried under the rubble, but Iron Man and Captain America, the two like superpowered people, are all fighting Thanos already.
It wasn't Ant-Man who was buried in there. It was
Hulk.
It was Hulk.
Hawkeye
wasn't Hulk and the other Iron Man, other guy.
He was. Hawkeye was in the basement level.
Hawkeye wasn't buried. He was in the sewers running away from the things. Ant-Man.
And there was rubble and rebar everywhere.
Ant-Man saved them. He wasn't buried underneath because remember he got big and pushed.
We'll have to buy the Blu-ray and watch this and break it down.
It was Hulk holding it up with one arm because his other arm is busted, and it was War Machine under there with him. War Machine was
and was the raccoon there too? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Rocket because he was complaining, "We're drowning down here." He's like, "Where are y'all at? We're fucking drowning.
We're fucking drowning."
It's like, meanwhile,
and it was Hawkeye running in the sewers from the things with the gauntlet in his
which
arm.
Looked like a cool shot too.
Yeah. And Ant-Man heard them saying they were drowning. Mm-hmm. He did his little flip over the pencil thing and all that. And that's when, after a while, he got big and he knocked all the rubble out the way.
Yeah, he became Goliath.
Goliath and knocked all the rubble out the way, so they got out that way.
I'm coming.
Hawkeye really got a lot cooler. Like
he's
for being
now.
for being a like the side guy, and I think a lot of it has to do with Jeremy Renner being like as charming as he is. Because like that, like I said, that moment in Age of Ultron where it's almost like he's coming out of his own character to sort of like poke fun at him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a dude with an arrow. Like this is weird. I get it." And there's that moment of reflection.
I thought about it when Hawkeye and when they were fighting to see who was going to kill themselves. Basically, I was like, how great would it have been if they both killed themselves? They both just fell off.
And then Red Skull is just like, oh, both of you? Soul Stone don't work that way. Wah, wah.
No, both of them die. Red Skull's like, now I have the Soul Stone.
Like, now I have the Soul Stone. He looks around, like the Soul Stone just appears, and then he looks around, he looks one way, looks the other, he's like, mine.
Thank you.
Yoink. I couldn't get this the first time. Now, him being an assassin who, like, that first scene was handled really, really well. Like it wasn't like grotesque or anything. It was just like it's very cleanly done, and it's very effective because we as the audience already know, but it's watching him react that's the point. And when he comes back, I thought the mohawk was a bit much. I'm like,
honestly, I kind of didn't pay attention to it after
I was
a while.
like, dude, you're in your 40s. I think we're past that haircut.
Oh man, he's got to change himself.
Like, I gotta feel young.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a new man. I'm a darker Hawkeye, which I like. It gave him a more to do, more to chew on, and Jeremy Renner did well.
I like how they were competing together.
Yeah.
They're the only two people I know that are competing.
Are competing to,
well,
to kill themselves.
That's because they cared about each other equally and stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't want that.
And they have that connection once again. Like props to them just building this shit, like very like incrementally building these relationships, and like you find out that Black Widow, she came from that assassin group and she was sterilized, but then Hawkeye saved her and sort of brought her into the fold with S.H.I.E.L.D., and so they have that moment. And they have that thing, that recurring line they go back to, and they were like, "This ain't Budapest," and it was like, "Oh, that job we pulled in Budapest. Remember that was some crazy shit, huh?" And they talk about it in Age of Ultron when they were in the car, and then so that payoff. That's what it's all about.
One of our friends. Oh, I'm going to see Endgame. Anyway, my friend messaged him and said, "Well, Superman dies at the end." Because they were mad that they dipped on us, and they're like, "Wow, why would you say that?" I'm like, "You don't even know Marvel and DC.
See?
Why are you even going?"
Like, hey, bro, Superman dies. It's like, oh,
It's like, no.
It's like, yeah, in a Marvel movie.
It's like wrong one.
Batman saves Ant-Man from being beaten by the Flash.
It's like Harry Potter and Luke Skywalker come in to get Marty McFly back to his time.
Best ending ever. Be a great ending.
That's what Star Wars needs: time travel.
You're a wizard, Luke.
That's what Star Wars needs.
They need time travel
to fix things.
Fix everything. Go back in time.
Maybe
I'll be very, very brief, and I'll just make this joke.
Look at you!
I know
I'll be very, very
Look, he's
brief.
gotta stop himself
and make this joke. People were saying these guys aren't really Game of Thrones watchers, but people, if you watch Game of Thrones, Bran does nothing, and people were joking that he was watching Endgame the entire episode. It's hard for me to explain why that is, but if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know. Bran was at Endgame.
Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about in Endgame wise, or is that pretty much it? I mean, I could talk about different.
Oh, I got a movie to talk about too.
What?
No.
Let's go to a movie we're actually interested in seeing. We'll go to Sonic next.
Sonic the Hedgehog is the
Mine
best.
is going to be shorter to talk about.
This is the best movie
I'm
of the
going
year.
to run to the bathroom, but Sonic may need to... we might need to
I'm
to
just
get
saying,
Sonic on the
Sonic
table.
I was talking
10 out of 10.
All I'm talking about is the new trailer for Godzilla.
Oh yeah, I did see the new trailer.
Yeah, it shows like a lot more monster action and stuff. We can pull it up after this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it.
And did you see on Twitter the special edition Xboxes they're raffling off? They only made one of each one. They have one based off of each monster.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's
that's pretty cool.
You pretty much got to retweet it, and there's a chance to win it. Let's see.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
If I can pull it up.
I want one. You guys heard that? Go on Twitter.
Don't go on there. It gives me a better chance of winning.
Don't go on Twitter and do that, guys. we need these Xboxes. You have no idea. You just don't know. Oh man, I want to see that.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
But what was it? May 21st, I think it's coming out.
Something like that, yeah.
I thought the movie for some reason already came out, but then when they showed the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's. Ooh, I want
They
that.
have Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Rodan, and
Oh,
Mothra.
that's awesome.
I was like, I want the King Ghidorah one, kind of. I'll either take that or the Godzilla. Rodan's good. The Mothra one's dumb. It's just blue.
Yeah,
green
that's
with
not
a moth
an
on top of
epic.
it.
I'd take any of those three. Those are pretty nice. That's pretty cool.
When he comes back. So one thing I told him too, like Xbox made special edition Xboxes, only one of each one, and you can win. You have to retweet it, and you have a chance of winning. These are the 4 different ones you can win for the Godzilla Xboxes.
That's awesome.
That's it. I'll take any of them except the Mothra one, is what we said.
The Mothra one is
definitely
definitely lame.
It's
but,
just they put a bird on it and
but
made it blue.
the Ghidorah one is fire.
Yeah, it's either the main ones are Ghidorah or Godzilla is what I would want.
The
Rodan one's okay.
The Rodan one is
It's
okay.
not bad, but these two are.
But the
pretty
Ghidorah one is fresh.
Yeah, that's
That
awesome.
But yeah, I mean, we can pull it up if you want, but they
So
definitely
yeah,
have a
but
new
don't
trailer
retweet
for
it,
Godzilla.
guys. We want to win.
Yeah.
It's just everybody don't retweet.
I don't know if you have Twitter yet. You got to go make one.
See, there you come on, man. See, that's what
You
you're
guys
missing
are
out.
added to the list of people who put me on Twitter.
Look, we're getting one step closer each time, every day.
Did you want me to pull it up so you can watch it?
Sure.
Okay.
But
go ahead. You can talk about Sonic. I'll bring it up.
I've been purposefully kind of keeping myself away from thinking about Godzilla. I'm not avoiding the trailers or anything.
Yeah.
But I'm not going out seeking it to because I want to go into that movie and not have shots spoiled. My main thing with trailers now is not even necessarily the story parts that they spoil. It's more so like cool shots.
Oh, like the really.
Did you
good
not
scene.
want to watch it? It's the final trailer for it.
You should probably wait
I'm
if you're
tempted,
like
but
that.
no.
Okay.
I'll bail out.
Oh, okay.
Because I do that with certain movies, and I find that on average it makes the movie better.
Yeah, like I don't like if a trailer comes on, I usually don't watch it. Like I'll skip it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that is just on and I'm seeing it, then I'm like, okay, I've seen it. But
I'm
usually I
good.
just go into the movie.
I'm
blind.
definitely
Like Mission Impossible Fallout, I saw that with no trailers. I hadn't even watched a whole Mission Impossible movie from start to finish, and I went in and that movie knocked my damn socks off, man.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible Fallout is a great.
I got
It's
31st is the release date for Godzilla.
For the movie.
it's one of the best action movies I've ever seen.
Really
Like
Go see it.
No, seriously, Mission Impossible Fallout was excellent. And like the stunts that they did with the helicopters and stuff, and like the motorcycle, like say whatever you want about Tom Cruise. The man is a movie star, and that scene where he's going through, I think it's Paris, and the camera is like following him, so it's like him coming towards the shot, and they're like weaving through traffic. It's just awesome. So, sometimes it pays not to watch trailers.
Yeah, I've heard Godzilla does all his own stunts.
Oh, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Is Godzilla also a Scientologist? Is he a Thetan level?
I mean,
wizard?
Apparently from this movie series, he's been here since primordial times,
Yeah,
so he would know.
He's pre-humanity, pre-everything.
Yeah, so he would know what was the beginning for this place. So
Yeah. I guess he does know.
I can't imagine these giant monsters on this planet had a lot of hunting ground, how big they are and how many of them there are. it seems.
Well, even though they're
What
that
would it?
big, a whole continent would be a decent amount of space. But at the same time, my thing is like, what else were they hunting?
There's other big
I'm about to
monsters
say,
apparently.
whatever.
Aren't you going to run out of other big monsters after enough time goes by, though?
Maybe they were
Is
vegetarians.
all these monsters like they're so different looking too? Like they
Yeah,
don't even look
there's
like they
no-
belong to the same
Yeah,
world at all.
they're not even. Yeah, you have moth things and three-headed
You
got-
Hydra dragons.
You got Godzilla, which can blast radiation out, but nothing else is doing it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Ghidorah's still gonna have like its lightning.
Ghidorah is having lightning breath.
Okay.
That is in one trailer that I saw. It's like they're because you see them in the ice.
Mhm.
A certain trailer, you see the heads that are actually frozen in ice,
Yeah.
and then there's another shot of that same, I guess, the same facility that they're in,
Mhm.
and there's lightning blasts going
coming
through
out
the
of it.
window.
Okay.
So yeah, he's still gonna have his lightning breath.
Okay, I wonder if he's still gonna be an alien.
I hope he is. I think
Maybe
it's-
that's the only thing that makes sense why it looks so different.
yeah, no, because Ghidorah himself is like, okay, there's nothing that's similar between any of these.
Yeah, all the other
right?
ones. Well, I don't know about the.
Rodan, you can explain.
It's a pterodactyl type thing.
Yeah.
Mothra, a big ass.
A big ass moth. creature.
Godzilla's. I don't know what he is, but he's just a lizard. You can
He's a
think of that
giant
one.
lizard. Ghidorah has nothing on
Dragon.
Earth that's kind of similar. Yeah,
And I don't know about the moos or whatever they were called in the previous movie.
the Mutos.
Mutos. I don't know what they were. If anything.
They were created just specifically for that movie. They have no
I know they were in
lore.
the previous movie. I just don't know if
And,
they were
and
based off.
the
like, an
only
animal.
real thing that they did that was unique, like one of them could fly, and then the other one could launch an EMP blast.
Yeah.
Which was like, okay, that's a cool ability.
Godzilla's like, I don't care about EMPs.
Yeah, I don't give a.
Get that
I don't
thing.
give a fuck.
And people always complain about it when it didn't have enough action. But I always tell people, like in the old Godzilla movies, if you watch them, like it was like half, if not more than half, was on the human side of the story, and not even
Mhm.
about the monsters fighting.
Yeah. But this movie looks like it's going to be a whole big action.
People complain they want enough monster action, so they added.
Yeah,
a lot
the director
more.
was like, "Hold my beer."
It's not enough.
Watch
All right,
this.
well now you're just gonna
Yeah,
see all
It's
four of them
like
fighting.
you whiny assholes wanted action. I'm going to bukkake action all over the screen and make you unable to look away.
Okay. So now we can go talking about Sonic. I just wanted to get that out of the
Best
way.
movie alive.
Yeah.
I saw that trailer. I said, "Who is
Yep,
this?"
they're redoing the
They're
design.
redesigning.
They are
They're
redesigning it because everybody was like, "This
which is unprecedented, and it's fascinating because that may mean that studios will have to respond to that sort of thing in the future.
It's probably because Sega invested so much money in there. I don't
And
know.
their
I wouldn't say they're bankrupt, but they're definitely not like a high end company like they used to be.
Sega does not need
this to fail.
They don't
No,
need backlash. They
not
don't need
even this to
backlash.
fail. It's that it's failing and it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
It's that the whole trailer itself is a meme.
It literally is.
it's
They
like-
need to make some kind of profit off this movie.
It couldn't be more of a joke. Like you have, first off, obviously the giant blue hedgehog in the room. Sonic looks terrible.
He looks horrible.
That's already been said. That doesn't need to be said.
Yeah, it was very-
Jim
it was so
Carrey
funny.
as Dr. Robotnik.
That's the best part. That's
that
the
was.
best part.
I was like, look at this.
Looks like he's enjoying himself, but I'm just watching it like,
I mean, it's just this origin story. I don't have an origin for Dr. Robotnik on any of the Sonics. Like,
well, there is
beyond what he looks like. Then like
sure.
But I mean, this isn't obviously following normal Sonic the Hedgehog.
No,
thing.
of course. And
Apparently not.
The only thing I could think of is like, you need to tell me that Sonic somehow got transported to our world. That's the only thing I'll accept. Especially now that you're telling me he can throw a ring and make a portal out of it. Did you see that part of the
I didn't
trailer?
see that. I gotta
You
rewatch
didn't
the trailer.
see that
I
part?
rewatched the trailer because I didn't see that. I was
He
half asleep.
slandered it.
I was half asleep when
I was
watching
a
it.
little drunk when I watched it.
But you remember that, don't you?
Yeah.
He
And
threw
then
a
he's-
ring and made a portal and went through the portal and went somewhere else.
And then he
What?
had a line where he was like, "I'm here to save your planet" or something. He didn't even say world.
I
He
did-
said
I did.
planet, implying that he's just an alien.
Your
I did
planet.
see
You didn't say
that.
our planet. Your planet.
Your planet.
Yeah, he was like, "Your planet,"
Your
implying
planet.
I come from another planet. So it's
So
like
maybe he actually came out of a Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Maybe.
And a power
Maybe
surge
that's how it's
happened. He
gonna
got
start.
ejected out of it.
He's
if
gonna
they,
start.
they could swing this though. If they added just a few scenes
Mhm.
where they reference the way Sonic looks and they kind of make it meta,
Mhm.
where I'm hoping it's like a DVD extra of they keep the shitty Sonic design
Mhm.
so that you can lull and still watch the movie. But he just looked horrifying.
I think
was
the
scary.
only way they can make a profit off this is if they bank on how ugly he is, and if people want to
Just
go
go
see how
watch it.
shitty this movie
Just
is,
so they can
and they
make
make
more.
profit on these
They own
tickets.
it,
that
and
way.
they just take their L.
They just-
Yeah.
Well, not take their L.
They
take
take-
their,
yeah, they
their
take the win.
financial win.
They're gonna win financially, but there's no way you can make a
There's
sequel
there's
to it.
no credibility with anyone
That's
that's involved.
funny.
Everyone's getting fired. They're making their paycheck and then getting fired.
Here's your money.
It's like, hey, it worked out this time because we swung it a certain way. We made the spin work to
we
our
did
favor.
it. Now go.
Now you're fired.
Why doesn't Sonic have any chili dog in the movie? Let's be honest. That's
Yeah.
the real thing.
The guy who plays Cyclops is returning to another great role that's going to do well for him.
It's gonna be a great
Maybe he just
movie.
wants his like
Maybe this
his
is his
background to
career
be this.
suicide.
he's
Maybe
purposely
last
doing
stand.
it.
Maybe he's like, there's no other way that I can gracefully leave, and I just let the Sonic movie be
I'm
my exit.
gonna dishonorably discharge myself.
I'm gonna excuse myself.
That's it. He's trying to get out of the army and he wants to discharge himself. So he's like, "Fuck it, go do the Sonic movie. It'll be terrible.
That is-
No one will want to hire me
You know what?
again."
What if they actually turn it around though, and it actually comes out? I'm hoping. I want.
You want it to be
From
good?
my childhood.
Yes.
From my childhood, I've always wanted Sonic
Yes.
to come back, and honestly,
His
There
games
was a
have
good
gotten
thing.
shittier and shittier.
the only one that was really good was Sonic Mania because they had the fans.
because
make
it was
It was the-
literally the old games with the fans entering in some mini bosses and other
Yeah,
content.
they added new levels, new
New
bonus
le-
zones, new
mini,
characters.
new mini games and stuff. So that was a labor of love.
Mhm.
I'm talking about like the Sonic.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
Oh my god, bro!
Yeah, or-
The last Sonic game that was recent was on the Wii, and I think it was Sonic Adventures. I don't know if you played that, but it basically
That's not recent.
no, not recent, but it was a while back.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
when
talking
the
about. Oh, no, that was Dreamcast. You're talking about like Sonic Adventure. The first
No,
one.
no. This one was. I think it was I don't know if it was Sonic Adventure. I forgot what the name of the. It was a Sonic game. I forgot.
What was it about?
Basically, you didn't really control Sonic. He just ran and you moved left and right.
Was it Sonic Heroes?
No, it wasn't Sonic.
Sonic Colors? See?
There are so many of
There
them.
is.
Just
It was
get-
on. I'm
I
trying
get
to. I
lost
have
in
to
the
go
shuffle.
through because I saw that was the last Sonic game I played on the Wii, and then I saw Sonic they made another game with him with the swords, and I think that's the one.
That's Sonic and the Black Knight.
I saw that and I was like, did they really just give this man swords?
The Werehog is the best.
Oh my god! I played that too. Oh my god!
And it's like
it was so stupid, but I had fun with the game. But
the
it was so stupid.
The cutscenes in that game look like they're in a Final Fantasy game, but it's Sonic, and Sonic is drawn in a 3D fashion that is like his normal design. And it's like he's just stuck out in this weird genre that he doesn't belong in.
Sounds like Sonic's brother.
Do you remember Sonic the Hedgehog in 06 or something when they tried to bring him back and they made like the silver hedgehog and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh
that?
yeah.
I wanted that like that so bad. I even played the demo, but I was like, the camera is so bad. Like you're trying to make him run fast, but it turns so slow. I can't keep up with the game at all.
Now, one game that did the transition from Sonic was on the PS2, Sonic Adventure World 2. In that same series, the one where you're there's like a level where you're going down like the San Francisco roads and stuff.
Oh
and
yeah,
that game was awesome.
I like that game.
The Sonic Adventure ones I like, but some people don't like them. But
really, I enjoyed them. They were really
if you
good.
compare Sonic to Mario per capita, Sonic is just a loser. But I love Sonic. And his games, Sonic the Hedgehog was the first real video game I ever played on the Sega Genesis when I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, he was actually the first one because I didn't play Mario.
I didn't play Mario either.
Sonic
I started with Sonic and then I played the Mario
games
games later on in life. But yeah, Sonic is near and dear to me.
Because Sonic Adventures was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I hated when Knuckles and Baton Rouge or whatever her name was.
Oh, you're talking about Adventure 2 then?
Where you had to go search for the Chaos Emeralds. I hated those levels.
He did that in the first one too, though. That's when he plays Knuckles. The worst part was when they force you to play Sega Bass Fishing when you played as Big the Cat.
Oh my god! It's like, why?
I'm like, no, I don't want to play as Big the Cat to unlock Super Sonic. It's so much work. You gotta go fishing.
That is
stop.
The developers were like, lol. They were trolling you. But yeah, this movie just looks terrible. I want to be like, I'm like you. I'm like, if I go in and I'm enjoying myself and I'm liking the movie, I'm gonna let go and say, you know what, I'm having fun. And I want it to be good. It's like when you say
if they're gonna redesign the character, I'll go see it.
But he's still gonna be realistic, like fuzzy and stuff like that.
That's fine.
But the one thing is the eyes. Yeah, the eyes threw me off because his eyes were separated.
His eyes were like little beads.
Yeah, they're like
the real Sonic. His eyes technically are connected.
Yeah, they're all one. They're almost like goggles.
They gave him like human eyes.
Did you see like the? I don't know if it was a fan made, but like they have like an edit that showed what he should look like or something.
Yeah,
like
I did see that one.
Yeah,
the only
thing, a lot better.
The only thing I would say is that when his hands, he wears gloves instead of the furry white hands. So I would like to see.
I think they're gonna do that with the white gloves, and they're gonna make the shoes more. They need to make the shoes.
The shoes need a little bit bigger, more bright red.
Yeah, you need to just make it full on Sonic.
Sonic has a really, really good design because it is simple.
Yeah, and they made it. They kind of went too tall with them, but I know they redesigned Sonic recently. You know, like that one game that had like they were all like human size.
Yeah, Knuckles was literally like a giant brolic person. Like he was a humanoid giant man.
That would be terrifying to see that.
Which is what I always imagined Knuckles as, because they obviously when in the Sega games or in the Genesis era, they had to make the design similar because you only have so much you can code.
And they wanted to make them cartoony and stuff.
Yeah, and they did. Yeah. But I always imagined that Knuckles would be a little bit bigger and more brolic. And are the other characters going to be in the movie? Is like Tails and Knuckles?
They haven't said anything like that. They ain't said nothing like that.
I think it just might be Sonic for this.
They could leave that up for an ending and then lead to a sequel if they really try.
Are they going to Marvel Universe the Sonic movies?
The movie would have to be good enough for a sequel.
Are we getting a Tails origin story?
There's a lot of Sonic stuff that no one. I don't read it or nothing, but I know there's.
I know that there's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot. They could make a sequels and stuff,
but they got to do well with this one first before they start thinking of all these other ones.
A lot of.
Yeah,
don't go on the internet looking for Sonic
Shadow.
stuff. Nope. Don't go into Google Images. Bad stuff happens. But everyone has to play the Sonic game. You have to go home, or even if you're home or whatever, go on Google, put your first name, and then put the hedgehog behind it, and go to Google Image and see what fan art someone has made for it. That's called the Sonic game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
That's a real thing. Trust me.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'll do you first, Jeremy.
Oh no!
It's not going to use
your name would be a little bit tougher.
I know. I'm a very unique individual.
Jeremus the Hedgehog.
And then he finds like
and it's like the thousands of Jeremus the Hedgehog
like, no!
images that have already been made for years.
I'm just sad and depressed. Like I call my parents, my mom, dad. My name's not unique anymore. It's over.
See, well, first off, the first one's not weird. The second image is a little creepy, but it's not even like a Sonic picture.
Oh!
That's Ron Jeremy.
What?
But the only thing that comes up is Jeremy the Hedgehog.
It's Ron Jeremy with a hedgehog
Ron
tattoo.
Jeremy the Hedgehog. I'm pretty sure.
It's like, I'm here to save your world.
And deliver the meat lovers pizza. Like,
special delivery.
Somebody order extra sausage.
They open it up. They thought it was going to be porno, but it actually has the Sonic quill in it that he's holding up in the movie.
Oh, that's great.
Sonic quill of electricity.
We're never gonna play that game again. That's it. That was the last time.
You gotta have Destiny. Oh, I should do
No!
that. Her name is more normal. It'll happen.
God.
Destiny the Hedgehog.
I'm sorry if you're listening to. Well, she's gonna be listening.
GG's in the chat.
Yeah, press F to pay respects, guys. Right now.
Press
And at least this one has no video, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh,
It's just terribly drawn. If only it was the second one, maybe she'd appreciate it more. But she gets that one because that's the first result.
Oh no, we're going with that one. That's better. That's adorable.
This is
A 3-year-old. Yes, there you go. That's better.
That was not bad.
That's not bad. That's adorable. Describes her personality very well. Thank you, Ken.
I like the first one.
Well, why didn't you look up yourself, Ken?
I've done it before.
Oh, we haven't seen it.
Okay.
We
I'll read the hedgehog. You want me to type that in too?
I mean, might as well.
That one probably doesn't exist.
Read would be more like Knuckles,
Hey, that's
though.
fine. It doesn't exist when you spell it like I spell it.
Remake. Should try it that way. There'll be one image, and it'll be the best image. Chase Reed the hedgehog.
What?
It's just blue Sonic.
It's
Reed, you get the most
slightly
normal
greenish blue Sonic.
Reed gets
Okay.
the normal.
I like the second one though. I think that should have been it.
Oh, so now we're
He's
bending-
wearing mom
now-
jeans.
Now we're bending the rules.
We time travel.
We're being a bit more liberal with those
This
rules.
is you in a different universe, Reed.
I said that isn't it. I just would like it to have been that.
You know what? We're not lucky.
I don't know. Might as well. Someone put a lot of work into that one though. They put like
Oh, Ken, look.
Art Sage. Is that a My
Very
Little Pony
feminine,
character next
very
to it?
feminine figure there. Nice
I know.
boots. I like those.
It used to be this edgy one, but I guess they got pushed out.
Somebody was like, "Hold my
that
beer."
other one, that one's an edgelord.
It used to be the edgy one, but I got put out by
Oh,
popularity of this one. I
You're a
guess.
cartoon now, Ken. Gotta accept it.
You're just mad that Destiny the Hedgehog's got a nice little blue flame sword.
Look, I don't appreciate mine being a Ron Jeremy.
Yours wasn't. That was the second image.
Look, that's still offensive.
Why is it offensive to be Ron Jeremy?
It's
It's pretty popular.
I mean, yeah.
Pretty popular with the ladies for being as fat and ugly as he is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly, Ken.
All right.
That's a messed up thing that men do, by the way. They don't want a good looking dude to be laying the pipe. They're like, no, make sure it's a fat, ugly guy
I feel better about.
who's
I feel better about it.
who's
It's like,
laying the pipe to all these gorgeous women, because then it makes it.
It's like,
we can,
I'm better than him.
aspire. We
I'm
can
better.
aspire.
This is more what I can do.
I can upgrade you now.
There is a way.
So if he can do it, I can do
Yeah.
it too. That's this.
It
It's
makes
like,
you feel better.
I mean, God, if I get into the gym 2 or 3 times a week, I'm farther along than he is. I mean, come on.
Oh god. Oh god.
So it's the funny thing I saw earlier today too. I think I saw it a couple days ago. I forgot yesterday. There's a mod for Fallout 4 to replace all of the girl characters with anime characters.
Oh.
Only
Might
the
have to
girls
start
though.
playing Fallout 4
Only the girls. The guys stay the same. They didn't do that for the guys.
because no one cares.
Nobody cares about the dudes.
Yeah, who cares?
Dudes look
But
the
I
same.
want to make it into like a whole anime situation.
Oh, you
Oh,
want
you wanna do an anime
world.
yeah. I'm not. Yes, the waifus are great, but I'm there for the world, not just the waifus.
Well,
Ken's
you're,
like,
the
I'm here
waifus
for
are
the-
like
for
that
the world.
75%, and then the world is 20.
Yes, I mean I'll accept the waifus, but there is a mod. Let me see if I can pull it up so I can show out images. Sorry for people who can't do it,
You can
but
look
it's
it up
on Nexus
yourself.
Nexus mods if you want to actually download. Let's see.
Oh yeah, there's a YouTuber that he goes reviews a lot of different mods. Fallout 4, and some.
It's a little bit weird though, because it kind of the people still have like the bodies, which is weird, but it might be it's the hands and stuff are changed. They're actually high resolution and
Wow.
stuff mods,
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
I might
but
do it.
males all look the same. But yeah.
Well, time to go get Fallout 4.
Also, the robot's still look the same. There's the chef. They didn't animate the robots.
Well, time to go download some Fallout 4 and do some modding.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, did you guys watch this is completely not movie related, but did you guys watch gameplay of Borderlands 3?
I haven't seen. I know Angry Joe
Reed,
made a video.
you gotta see it.
I watched some of the gameplay.
It's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to the game.
If you like Borderlands, you're gonna get more of it, and it's still fun. So it's gonna get more of the same plus new features and guns.
They literally show where the guy for gun,
which I mean, that's what everyone wanted. They just want more Borderlands.
Yeah,
they don't want them to change anything.
I'm like, I don't need. Borderlands is one of those very lovely, simple things that I don't really need you to change too much.
Nah, that's what.
Because the formula works so well.
But it does look like, unless I was getting wrong, it looks like you have the ability, like you know how each class you have like a special ability you get at the end and stuff like that. It looks like instead of it being minor tweaks from the 3 different trees you pick, it looks like they may have different animations depending which branch.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
you get even more specific.
Yeah, there are different animations.
That stuff, that's cool. The gun that can grow legs and run
it's
around.
like a running around.
That's awesome.
They actually showed it. It was so awesome.
That's
so
cool.
He threw the gun. It would just start running around shooting people. Then it started turning into missiles. It was amazing. I was like, this is great. I was like, this.
I'll play as the. I always play as the Siren every time I play.
Yeah.
Yeah. They showed the Siren. And I think the
I'm always the commando.
Well, he's like.
I know he's different.
He's
probably.
like a commando.
I think it's a woman this time, a commando, and it's the one that has like the mech suit and stuff.
Yeah. In the pre-sequel, it was
who's the other guy? Not the Beast, not the one who deals with the Beast, but the other one. It's like the assassin. I forgot his. I think it's
Zero.
Zen.
No, he's talking about the newer
the new
ones.
one. He's because he's like the assassin.
Because you have all 4 of the same types of class. They're just
They showed because they showed the Siren
people.
and then they showed. I think his name is Zen, and I might be wrong, but I know they showed 2 of the characters, and they were showing like the skill trees, and then they showed they showed 2 different worlds, and then you on the spaceship, which was they showed the neon world.
I know they're gonna have different vehicles too. It's not just the one vehicle with a different gun on top and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They showed a lot, and there's a lot of YouTubers people who were live streaming and showing off some of the roads and everything. It definitely has the Borderland look, and I was just enjoying it. I was like, this looks like a fun game.
I know they got a lot of backlash because they said there will be absolutely 0 microtransactions, but now they said there's going to be cosmetic ones, and people got really upset about it. I mean, I don't ever have problems with cosmetic microtransaction but I think they saw.
That was my refrigerator.
Normally it shouldn't sound like it's exploding, but I'll continue.
I'm just gonna look. It hasn't done anything, so look, I'm gonna leave it like it is.
But there is some like XP boost stuff because you know like how you bought the
you pre-ordered
you pre-ordered or bought the higher collector's editions. They give you like a temporary XP boost or like a redeemable thing.
Yeah,
they're doing the same thing with microtransactions. They're trying to tell people it's got a level cap on it, but it's still an XP boost.
Yeah.
So they're getting...
Which is beyond cosmetic.
Yep, so they're getting some flack about that, so maybe they'll get rid of it in the end or something like that.
They better get rid of it.
Yeah. I'm like you, Ken. I don't have any issue at all with cosmetic microtransactions. I think that they're fine. My problem is when you can move forward, progress in the game, like the actual gameplay through purchases. I just don't care for it.
Especially if we have a PvP type system in it.
Yeah, exactly. Really where if there's any multiplayer aspect, it cheapens the entire thing. You know. And
I don't honestly like loot boxes too much. I mean, if it's cosmetic stuff in there, I mean, I guess not. No,
I like Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I like the ability to have a store as a list of the items. They can even be timed items. But if it says this is how much you need to buy this item, and I just buy it with that currency straight up. I don't want a loot box where I'm kind of,
there's an in-between.
There's a chance that I cannot get.
Yeah, there's a middleman that doesn't necessarily have to be there.
Especially when if it's a limited time event, and I'm just basing this off of pure luck. I'll get this skin or something, and I have one day to do it. And if I don't achieve it, the skin's locked away for like a whole year or something like that. And I'm like, this is bullshit. You're making me spend money to try to get more chances to get the skin I'm not guaranteed to get.
Yeah. And you're essentially, it is literally a slot machine.
Yep.
Except it's in a video game, and there aren't really any.
You're not getting money back.
Yeah, you're not getting any money back, and there's no real regulation, like the way that gambling's been around since forever. But video games are sort of opening up these new discussions where it's like, and that's why the CS:GO lotto scam. It was like you're involving kids in gambling.
Yeah.
That's you're talking federal, like that's federal. That's a felony.
And then they're trying to figure out because I know some states gambling's illegal.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
They can't stop it because it's online.
Yeah, and if it's in a video game, it's not really.
Gambling,
it's
gambling,
very
but they don't have a way to stop it because
Yeah.
it's within the game. The
It's
only way they can
within a
stop
game
it
world.
is banning the game in that state or something,
Yeah,
which would suck.
Well, some people have done where they banned, like Overwatch was an example. There are some countries that you can't play Overwatch because it's considered gambling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they're like some areas they will ban.
Certain
the game.
European countries do that too.
So people are like trying to find ways to do microtransactions without it being considered gambling.
They had it
But-
before. It's like League of Legends. You just have the coin amount,
Yeah, but
and you buy
it's
it.
starting to be popularized now. Like before, like
Mhm.
not a lot of people were doing. Like Overwatch had loot boxes from the moment it started, but it wasn't a big deal. Now everybody, like EA and everybody else, is doing loot boxes. Now everybody's like,
Apex Legends.
yeah,
and
everybody's
Fortnite.
doing it. So
They're-
now it's becoming a problem.
They're just looking for a way to monetize it. They could just literally have people just play their game longer and earn currency for winning, but they
Mhm.
want to monetize and make quick, easy money that way.
Yeah,
That's why.
because it's all
It's
human
beneficial.
instant gratification. It's like, okay, you could grind in Battlefront 2 for like whatever it was, like 800 hours or
Mhm.
whatever stupid amount it would need to get all the XP to buy all the guns, or you can just pay us and get better guns that therefore help you in the game, which goes back to what we were saying.
No, I know you said you were gonna get it. It's a different game. Mortal Kombat 11. You have it?
Oh, yeah.
I've been seeing. I have a buddy of mine who bought it. I've been over to his house a couple of times.
I'm gonna get it.
It looks really good.
Mhm.
There's more of a focus on. There's less of a focus on like actual blocking. The block feature is almost punishes you for using it. It's more so like moves that can counter.
Mhm.
Like they have recovery frame. I know I sound like a
Yeah, I mean,
lawyer
there's
talking
frames
to
and stuff.
talking
No,
to
that's
people that play fighting games, but it actually shows you the percentage that like this move has this frame rate,
Mhm.
and it can counter this move with this frame rate, and it's like a numbers sort of thing more so than the other Mortal Kombats were.
Which I mean, even blocking, if the move is very unsafe, you can counter it after blocking.
Yeah,
So.
and there are ways that if you get a perfect parry, you can obviously counter and
Yeah.
do more
You
damage.
avoid
and
chip,
stuff.
you avoid chip damage
Yeah.
and counter it quicker.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Sekiro. I'm doing New Game Plus on Sekiro right now,
Mhm.
and there's this item that sort of initiates the New Game Plus difficulty increase.
Mhm.
It's called Kuro's Charm, and if you give that item back to your lord, the young kid at the beginning of the game, it makes all the enemies harder. It gives them more health, more posture, more everything. It beefs up the world to New Game Plus, essentially.
So it's just harder and harder.
But
There you
what
go.
what it does is the block no longer blocks damage.
Mhm.
If you block instead of deflect, which deflect is a timed block, you have to time the strike and the block at the same time.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
just block, you
And
take
it
chip
deflect-
damage.
It takes chip damage, but then you can put on the Bell Demon,
Mhm.
and that further makes them even more hard,
Mhm.
and it increases the amount of items and souls that they get. So it's kind of like that with Mortal Kombat,
Oh,
like
man,
that
really good
perfect
job.
parry stuff.
Mhm.
But it's tough as.
I can
I
imagine.
don't try to
that-
perfect parry on Mortal Kombat. Are you talking about You're talking about
Yeah,
Sekiro.
Sekiro. I don't
Okay.
know. Mortal Kombat. No, oh no, perfect parry. Yeah, the perfect parry in Mortal Kombat is way harder than.
I don't
that.
even try to do it.
No.
I just rather block.
Yeah,
instead.
my buddy Pierre, who's a fighting game guru, like he plays fighting games like Mozart played the violin, and he was like, yeah, don't even attempt it. It's like it's not you won't do it. So
I've been playing Liu Kang. That's
I've heard a lot of people starting to play more Liu Kang because he was
he
like,
has a teleport now.
yeah, he. Well, I watched the story. I went ahead and watched the storyline because I'm just gonna play
Oh, his arcade or the actual story?
the
mode?
actual story mode. Because I was like, I'm not really gonna play for the story. I'm just gonna start playing and learning like the use of characters.
Oh,
So I watched the story mode and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought it was pretty good.
yeah.
Production on that.
It seemed like to be lined up with in-game perfectly. Since
Oh,
they both involve
How
time
convenient!
travel.
How convenient! But yeah, like Liu Kang and his teleport was. Fire Guy Liu Kang. I was like, he's.
Well, I was thinking, I'm like, I picked him before even Fire Guy Liu Kang because I just saw his new moveset and they look pretty cool. And
A lot of the characters, the new movesets that they have looks really, really good from MK,
Mhm.
MKX.
the ones I want to do Frost, but I don't know. Liu Kang, I want to get a little better.
I'm a Kung
I want
Lao
to
guy
go back
myself.
to. I
Kung
want
Lao's
to do
pretty
New
cool,
Kung
though.
Lao.
Noob is really good. He has a lot of high damage and stuff, and I watch some people play him and they do really good with him.
Yeah, Noob is probably gonna be top tier.
I want to play with Jax some. I like how Jax. plays
Jax looks
now.
awesome.
Yeah.
I want to play more with Cabal because I've always loved Cabal. He's really
Cabal.
good. What? I love Cabal, man.
He's-
I like Cabal.
His full screen
Hey,
fatal blow is cheap.
Well, I mean, I don't like his fatal blow, but I like him.
But I like when people dash and I block it, and he's just like, and I just instantly punish them for it.
That is an instant punish.
Or if
you gotta really know you're gonna get that if you're gonna do that.
Or I know they're about to dash, and I just throw a fireball in their face, and they just run into the fireball.
Oh god! Stop. Oh yeah, I'm gonna pick up MK. I got too many games to pick because then I gotta pick up Rage 2.
Get it on PC.
I
So we
will.
can play.
I
Okay.
will.
Mhm.
I've also been playing Days Gone,
Mhm.
which
I don't. They pushed it back too long for me.
I was interested in it, but I've been playing it, and you can see where they picked up some ideas from The Last of Us. Now I don't mean it's as good as The Last of Us. The Last of Us is amazing, but it takes a lot of elements as far as how the story works, the zombie, everything. It you can see they pretty much were like, we're gonna take this and do this.
Right.
So I know a lot of people don't think the game is really that great. I mean, it's okay. It's not anything amazing, but I mean, I've enjoyed my time with it. So it just got me excited. Honestly, it got me excited to get my hands on The Last of Us 2. So I kind of felt bad because I was like, I'm supposed to enjoy the game, but it got me excited for The Last of Us 2. So I was like, yes.
I'm just tired of the zombie type game. You know, like it's been going on for so long.
The whole zombie cultural thing has been going.
I just need a break, and that's why we're pretty much just talking about a bunch of random games that are interesting at this point. But that's why I'm interested in Vampire the Masquerade 2 whenever that comes out, because at least they're touching on a different type of undead.
Yeah.
So
the vampires are like, we're still here, guys.
So would it be okay if it was a different zombie? Like instead of it being the same kind of zombie in different games, if it was a completely different take?
I'm done with zombies.
So you're just done with them?
Like
zombies
the fast zombies, I'm done with those.
The
slow
zombies.
ones. Yeah. Or World War Z zombies, they made them, which is dumb. They made them run in a movie and stuff. They didn't. I don't remember if they. It's been so long since
I don't remember.
Did anyone ever read the book?
I didn't read the book.
I recommend the book. Way better than the movie.
Yeah, the movie was a PG-13 mediocre.
Boo-boo.
They made it PG-13.
They did.
Oh, that's.
There are so many moments when you're like, "Yep, that should have been a rated R moment." Yeah, that one over there too. Yeah, her head would be off her body.
Be rated R.
How would you try to make a PG-13 zombie?
Come on, we want to see the blood.
Not every one of them. So that Romeo and Juliet one, Warm Bodies, that could have been PG-13.
Yeah, I never saw that.
I actually liked it.
I'm sure it's fine.
It was basically like
a love story. Yeah, it's
Romeo. It really was Romeo and Juliet in zombie form. Yeah, it was interesting.
Fine. Hey, perfectly fine.
You do you. That's what, you do you on that.
But yeah, I think with the way you are with zombies is the way I'm kind of getting with the superhero movies. And I love superheroes. I've always loved them. I'm watching the season 2 of One Punch Man. It's great.
You need to watch last episode. I've been watching it too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wait,
but
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just talking to myself.
But no, I mean, these things are like you can only squeeze so much out of out of those things.
I was just thinking. I think I remember the last episode. Maybe I did watch it. What? One Punch Man spoilers. What happened the last time?
Ken just looked at the microphone like sort of hesitantly.
He was just like, am I going to say? Yeah, whatever.
What was the last episode about?
The last episode was Metal Bat fighting Elder Centipede.
The centipede things?
He fights a bunch of the centipedes, and then Elder Centipede comes
shows
out.
up and he's like, He's like, I beat this one. Now there's a bigger centipede.
Now there's a
I beat this one. Now there's an even bigger one.
And the bigger one beats the crap out of him. Thinks he's dead, is going off to other things. He gets up. You find out that Metal Bat's power... This is why Metal Bat is one of my favorite of the side characters. You find out that the more he gets beat up and the more damage he takes, the stronger his fighting spirit becomes. And
that's why he hits himself in the head with
his
bat.
He actually whacks himself.
Wow.
His bat, by the way, is indestructible. It's completely indestructible.
So far.
He had it made by Metal Knight. The Bofoy, the head of that corporation. So
some say it's indestructible. Saitama hasn't punched it either.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't though.
I have One Punch in my list.
You need to watch it.
You need to watch it. But the Elder Centipede basically launches Metal Bat across the city, and Garo's walking by. Of course, he launches him 5 feet away from Garo, but never mind that. It's like, oh, that's convenient. A whole city and right next to Garo. But
and then it ends right there, basically.
And it ends with their stare down, and they're gonna fight.
And then my favorite though is like I think it was last episode when Garo was walking through the town or whatever, and Saitama was there or whatever like that, and he's
buying
like,
the wig to go into the tournament.
And he just like he hits Saitama, and Saitama didn't even know it was going. He's like, hey. Why did
he's like that's not cool, man.
Man, that's not cool. Then he chops him back, and he just makes like a crack in the earth and just gets knocked out.
His shoulder down into his rib cage, and he starts and he's gasping like, "What the?"
And he just gets knocked
and then Saitama doesn't even pay. He's like, "Yeah, so how much is this wig? 3,000 yen? Oh, that's kind of expensive."
Oh, yeah, and it started with he's like, Saitama was like, "I was looking for you," and Garu thought he was talking to him, and he's like. He's another hero.
Another hero.
So he just hits Saitama thinking he's going to knock him out.
And you see the shockwave go through Saitama's whole body down to his feet, and then it cracks the ground underneath his feet.
And nothing happens. He's just like, why'd you do that? That's rude. He chops him back.
Saitama's like, hey, you dick.
And then he just gets like knocked out.
And he destroys him with a judo chop.
And then he noticed that Saitama was talking to the shop guy behind him.
He has enough time to like lose his consciousness as he's watching Saitama take care of it. Just buy a wig. It's just like, oh, Saitama's great. But
I'll have to start watching it.
But yeah, definitely get on One Punch Man. It's a nice deconstruction of superheroes in a lot of ways, and it's the Japanese take. It's what anime's take on superheroes is. It's like an Asian critique on it.
It's just like they're just joking on a superhero stereotype.
It's a spoof kind of.
Okay.
But I see. It's so unique because I don't think a parody, like when you tell someone One Punch Man is a parody, I don't know if that's the right word because there are still so many serious moments that are played straight that work.
It's its own show, but it's still a parody on the superhero
Sure.
thing,
No,
yeah.
it is lampooning superheroes, but like I'm saying, like there are moments when Saitama's nowhere to be nowhere.
Yeah.
And the characters, you could almost remove Saitama from that, and it would still be like a really, really interesting anime.
Because they still develop the characters.
Because all their side characters are really, really well realized, and like they all have their own like it's just really well
King,
made.
they started building him up.
Yeah, King was built up where you.
Not spoil anymore. Just leave it at King. They built him up.
They build up King.
In fact,
I'm glad we caught it. I don't want to spoil that moment for you because that's a really, really well done. That when you find,
let's leave it at that.
Okay.
I've been watching Shield Hero. I gotta watch the last episode.
I put that on my Crunchyroll thing.
Yeah.
Is that good?
It's good. So it starts off looking like it's gonna be like your casual isekai, which you know what that term is. Like people who go to another world type thing.
Oh yeah.
Where they either die or just wake up there or whatever.
And he has the book of the Shield Hero.
Or the 4 heroes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts off like it's gonna be a general, just normal hero anime stuff like this, blah blah blah. But there's so much backstabbing and betrayal against him and stuff, and he just starts hating everyone and stuff like this, and it makes you hate this one woman that you want her to die every situation that you see her. Yes, like if I go to an anime Reddit page and if there's anything about her, like they just literally just like have like comparing her to garbage piles and setting the garbage pile on fire and stuff like. They put her in scenes like we just want this woman to just die
be
in the worst way possible.
Oh god,
because that's how much of a bitch she is.
Damn,
I could tell you what she does to him in the beginning if you want. I think you should watch it.
I want to watch.
You just need to watch like the first episode and you'll know. And it gets worse from there.
Oh Jesus!
Well, for what she does to him, it's bad for him for a while, but yeah.
So it's him. It's like it's him in a new world, and he becomes the Shield Hero.
Yeah, and then there's other people who become the other 3 heroes besides.
And are they like a team that fights?
No, they don't make them work together. They get their own teams. Like they get people who decide they want to work with them as a party member.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of stuff again, people don't know until later.
Is it new?
I mean, it's a 24 episode anime, and they like a couple episodes into the second half, so it's not really new, but kind of. It's like episode 16 or 15 now.
Down on that one and kill.
Just watch like the first episode at least, so you can see how much you hate this.
I'm
woman.
watching.
We can turn it on after this if we want to watch
we
it.
all can feel the hate with everybody.
I already feel this hate.
Called,
I have this burning hatred. I want this woman to die.
I almost don't even want to watch it though.
I'll smile as like the blood splatters on the screen.
Subjecting myself to
yes.
It's like making myself hate.
You're not subjecting yourself.
It's just gonna naturally happen. That's
It'll be natural. You don't have to force anything. You'll naturally hate this moment.
We're not forcing it here. You just will do it on your own.
Yes.
Have you heard of Magical Spec Ops Girl?
I've heard of it, and I watched the first episode. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this, and I never watched it again.
I've watched to episode 4. It's really good.
Is it better? And like the first episode, I was like, what's going on?
It's there's no tonal consistency. There are like these giant teddy bear monsters that kill people by the score, and there's like this caterpillar that smushes like 50 people running down a street. Like, there are some really horrifying moments, and then it's just these waifu.
I got questions.
Fighting, which is all it is. It's a waifu show.
I know
that it's just these 9 superpowered girls that all have different magical powers, and they're fighting these demon animals that are like vaguely
like a Sailor Moon.
That's why I watched the first episode. I'm like, what am I watching? I never went back to it.
Like,
and the tone is just all over it goes from comedy to just people like civilians being eviscerated, and it's just it's just like, yo,
that's just one of the movies you just watch.
I'm like, Japan, what is going on?
I watched a couple episodes of the Fruit Basket remake.
They made a Fruit Basket remake?
Yeah, they're doing that. It's already a Fruit Basket remake.
Is it on Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Have you ever watched the original?
I watched
it's a very slice of life anime type thing, but it's like a lot older one, and some people started off watching that anime, so a lot of people like it for that reason.
I watched
that. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you're into like slice of life and maybe a couple like, I wouldn't say sci-fi, but it's like.
I was watching one anime that's on Hulu. It's Sword Art.
Oh no! Don't bring that show up.
Alcatraz, something like that. I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I said I don't like this. I said after the first one, that was it. I was done.
They need to stop watching.
Because when they made the one with the guns, I hated that one so bad.
I don't like Sword Art, but what do I know? Because they keep making more of them.
Well, I think they made Sword Art Online, and Sword Art Online. I forgot what the second one was. I think it was
L-Sword or something. No, not L-Sword.
Like because that's when they went like a fair. It was like after the first one. After watching all the other ones, I was like, they should have just stopped.
I liked the first one; it was really good.
Because the first one was,
especially the first half of it was really good.
The first one was awesome, and then they started going to guns, and I'm like, no, that's not what this is about.
It's one of the first shows that popularized the going into another world.
Yeah, it was really good.
The original one though was Dot Hack.
Yeah, and I watched a little bit of Dot Hack. The one that I like the most that does video game stuff is, oh my god, Log Horizon.
I don't think
Log Horizon does that concept the best out of all of them. I've seen some Dot Hack. Overlord is pretty good.
Yeah,
Overlord is another one like that. But Log Horizon, it's like they get trapped in the video game, and the character that we follow, Shiro, is a genius, and he's a genius in his real life. But he basically doesn't want to be a part of any guild, and he has his other friends. I know this sounds it's a cliche.
I think I remember this, but I never watched it.
He technically has a group, but he's not in a guild. And the whole series is like once he finds out that they're trapped, he starts reuniting with his old comrades, and they don't just fight. They actually start building a government in the city, and they set up trade with other players that are in, because this is a world, this is like an entire planet, and so there's player characters everywhere, like in this city and that city, and so they figure this out. They figure out that there's these teleport gates that can move materials and move things, and the NPCs actually, I'm finding it out in season 3. You're not sure if they got turned into real people or if this is a actual, like you were saying, a world that they were just pulled into,
like an actual real world that's in a different reality.
That does actually exist, and it is real. Okay. It's just they got pulled out of their reality.
Yeah.
So you're not quite. That's kind of like the mystery of the show that they're still building to. But that premise, get on Log Horizon. I think you'd like that one.
I'm excited that they're bringing. I know Jeremy. If you haven't watched it, you'll understand because they name shows weird sometimes in Japan, even if they're like a different type of show. Jeremy will probably be like, "What the?" the name of the show. But I'm glad they're going to making a second season for this. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
Oh yeah.
See, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Wrong to pick up
That's
girls
the
in a
WTF
dungeon.
moment right there.
It's actually really good though. I like it.
That one I need to watch. That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
That's a really great
That's
anime.
another one.
I've watched
You're
that
gonna have
one.
to
Is it
start
good?
watching all these animes.
It's really great. They already right as soon as it ended. Like, there's a second season next year, by the way. So there's going to be a second season of that.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I would pick it up before it gets another 24 episodes, and you're 48 behind at that point, and it's
Well, I don't mind being behind. I like
to catch up and watch it all. At
No,
once.
yeah, I like it where it's like that's why I'm letting One Piece build. I haven't watched One Piece in about 7 or 8 months, and they're like literally I think they're like 40 episodes. Yeah, I think they're like 40 episodes past where I was. I could sit down and watch One Piece for like 2 or 3 days. But
if you've never watched it, you'll be sitting there for over a month.
If you build, oh no, more than that.
Yeah, that's why I said over a month.
Oh god, much longer. I've rewatched One Piece, but that was back when they were on Fishman Island, so that was around like episode 5, from like 540 to 600, and now they're 300 episodes beyond that.
Now it could be worse. You could try to catch up with Case Closed.
They're over 1,000. That's over 1,000.
Over 1,000 episodes.
Oh jeez.
And they're still going. It's not done yet.
No.
Respect.
Yeah, he's still not. At this point, he is about to age into an adult.
Oh god, I'm gonna be old by the time I finish.
Yeah, you will. I like they had is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? They have a movie that's came out for it, but it's in Japan only. I don't know if any of y'all watched it. Jeremy's, I'm pretty sure he doesn't watch it. I liked Konosuba because it was pretty comedy. It was a comedy type one where you die and go to another world situation. It's just really like stupid comedy and it made me laugh.
Yeah. Anime, like comedy and anime, catches you off guard because the way that they structure their humor is so different. But it's always like there was a moment in it's a show called Kuroko's Basketball. You need to watch that one.
I've seen a couple of them.
That one's awesome.
Yeah,
and the whole premise is that the main character is so good that the reason why he's so good is that he can mask his presence. There's no real superpower in their world. They just have some heightened human abilities that are kind of realistic. And his is that he can make people not pay attention to him, essentially. And he shows up. And his whole
naturally have that ability.
Yeah, the running gag. Just piss on the
It's a passive ability.
Go on.
And the running gag is that he shows up and they don't notice that he's there, and like he'll be in a locker room and the character will look over and he'll be like, "Oh my god, why did you just pop up on me?" He's like, "I was standing here before you walked in," and it's just like that. Those types of jokes. So he shows up and he's out of breath, and they're like, "Where were you?" And he goes, "I was here the whole time." And then he turns away and he goes, and he's like got his mouth open slightly, and the dude was like, "You're lying! You're bullshitting me right now!" And then he just keeps his head where it is, and then he goes, "Silence!" The way it happens is just so funny.
Those animes like that, their scenes are definitely overshot with too much going on in it, and it just I know it's supposed to be like epic scene stuff, but it just makes me laugh about all this dumb shit that's like happening. Like Prince of Tennis. Did you ever watch that? You never watched Prince of Tennis?
Prince of Tennis. No.
There's literally a scene where like they're trying to overshoot this scene so much that like the guy hits the tennis ball, and it's like it goes to like a scene where like the tennis ball becomes the meteor that's about to hit Earth, and it makes the dinosaurs go extinct. You literally see the dinosaurs running and everything like this, and the guy that's in the game is just like he doesn't know what to do. And
What, Prince of Tennis?
Prince of Tennis. I don't want to tell you like the ending, the last like match and stuff. It gets really insane and stuff.
I'm gonna have to add, is that on Crunchyroll?
I don't know if it is. It's been a long time.
Prince of Tennis.
Look it up.
I love shows like that. Shows like Food Wars and Kuroko's Basketball. They show me that like those anime that aren't about fighting or battles like per se, the shonen formula, can be so great. Like Food Wars is literally just a dude who makes bomb ass food, but the way that they draw it and the way the characters react to
they orgasm every time
they eat because the umami is so
I have been watching Food Wars. I'm still watching.
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
When they orgasm, I'm like, oh my god, what is going on?
And like they have the Shokugeki, which is the food war, and it's like an intense ass battle, but they're cooking food, and it's like
it's just so great. Especially when every time I've seen his dish has been rice, and they eat it, and they just go crazy.
And it's so good that they flash back to an intimate moment.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world?
Where it's like his food is so transcendently delicious that it's causing them to reflect on their lives.
It's like, what am I doing?
It's just hilarious.
It's so great. I've been enjoying the show. We're not done with it, but I'm enjoying that show. Oh my god! But I don't know. Ken, do you?
I think we've about bled this.
I think we did a good job. I think we did a good job. You know, I'm gonna take this all away from you. Get you some sugar cubes next time.
Yeah, man. I mean, you might need it to season stuff.
I actually do. I gotta season some. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us on this. I didn't take a nap today.
Won't be able to edit that part.
I know. Thank you guys so much for. Oh my god!
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Off the Top. We hope you guys enjoyed. This is a little bit longer than the normal one.
Yeah, this was what?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I didn't know.
You're a cyborg. Time just doesn't matter.
Time doesn't exist.
You are
for me.
inevitable.
Nice callback.
Thank you. I'll do my best. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you guys enjoyed listening to us, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Catch you next time.